So, I did an unboxing video where I revealed my book, and in this video I just want to present it a little more in depth. So this is my book, 7 Days to Madness. This is the back cover. I did the artwork, and I'm gonna show you how it was in the original. So this is the original, right? Nothing but watercolors and ink with a little bit of Photoshop. Right, so this is the front cover, and this is the back cover, right? A little more Photoshop on this one, right? And I'm gonna show you something from the interior. Hold on a little bit. Right. So this is an art piece in the interior at the beginning. And of course I also did this by hand first, right? I don't know if it shows, but this is how it looked. And overall it turned out all right. No, I was skeptical with KDP, but it turned out really well. I'm fairly impressed with the quality of the book. Really, really impressed. And obviously, this is a proof copy, right, for the author. It has this not for resale band all over, right? So I would like to present this book in a little more detail, right? The essential is there's a serious problem going on in the 21st century, which is this is just me talking, but I think there is a serious lack of any standards whatsoever, and culture in essence has been brutalized, right? And culture has been removed and replaced with entertainment, with memes, right? Memes are a problem. Memes are a serious problem, and if people don't realize this sooner or later, civilization will go downhill, and it's already heading to the edge, right? Uh, but a lot of people, they don't have a problem with that. So what we have here is my case against entertainment, against pop culture, against memes, against video games, against comic books, against superheroes, and other suspects, because they have been, over exaggerated, over aggrandized. I think people occupy their time too much with these various occupations, hobbies, video games. The people live for memes. People, oh great, people cannot exist without their pop culture. They can't exist without their social media. So I had to write about it. So we have the greatest convention in history, a sort of Babylonian Comic-Con, where every kind of freak and mutant converge, right? And of course we have our protagonist who goes there to investigate, the furries, the cosplayers, and so on and so forth. And by the end, he discovers that the underlying issue here is that we are dealing with a special kind of madness that has been allowed to spread all over like some sort of infection, right? This is the real pandemic here. This is the real cultural problem, the cultural war. It's a sort of illness. It's a disease, a social disease, uh, and it has gone too far. And of course, we have a little epilogue where we deal with the fake pandemic, and I think it's a treat. If you want to read something that will make you laugh, make you think, make you sad, all in one, I think this is the book for you. Because listen, I'm talking from a point of experience, right? Because I was, let's say 10 years ago, that's when I stopped. But back then I was still what is considered a nerd, a dork, a normie, a weeaboo, right? You know, I was into that anime, I was into manga, I was into a lot of things. Not that I have a problem with these, you know, if you enjoy them in good measure and not make them, you know, the whole of your existence, that's fine. But you know, even back then, you know, I was, for example, I was a die-hard Naruto fan. I have all the volumes right here on my shelf. But even back then, you know, I never thought to myself, you know, I'm gonna put on an orange jumpsuit and a headband and start doing the Naruto run, and that never occurred to me because that to me was embarrassing, right? But this is one of the topics that this book tackles is what happened to people because this anime manga phenomenon plus others have come to the forefront, and people have forgotten what shame is, what decency is, what dignity is. And of course, I'm not accusing these books or these types of entertainment because they're just things, right? It's people that obsess with them, right? And of course, we have a major topic in this book is these people who uh, fetishize certain anime tropes, certain anime shows and mangas that are, let's call them, they are 18 plus, right? And they have certain tropes there that are sexualized. You know, not that I'm a prude or anything, but it seems to be that, you know, the obscene and the perverse have been accepted as not only something natural but also something to be proud about. You see, I'm cold. You see, I'm not a pervert. I'm not a degenerate anymore. You see, I'm cultured. You see that meme where they say I'm cultured and they watch lolly hentai or whatever, and it is acceptable now. It is not even acceptable. It is the norm most of all. And what prompted me to write this book in the first place was, you know, on YouTube there are certain channels that are openly focused, concentrated on providing this sort of obscene, degenerate content that involves, you know, lollies and hentai and certain sexualized categories that are a bit too much to me. But they wear it as a badge of honor. They openly come out with it and proclaim, you know, yeah, we're cultured, bro. And they watch absolute garbage. And you know, that prompted me to write this book. And again, I'm not accusing anybody of anything. It just seems to me, that something serious is going on where people now, my age, a little bit younger, a little bit older, they come out and say yeah, I collect doujins. I watch hentai on the download 24/7. And some collect statues and bobbleheads and, To me, these are occupations that are reserved for a certain age, right? If you are above a certain age, I don't think you should be collecting figurines. That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but it just seems to me that after a certain age, I don't think you should watch a cartoon about ponies that was meant for little girls, for example, right? So, this book tries to tackle and tries to find an answer to this horrible phenomenon that has possessed the West, because in the East, especially in Japan and in Korea, these anime and manga tropes have been for a long time, part of the culture, right? With the maid cafes and the cat-eared girls and whatever and the swimsuits, and it keeps on going, right? But now we have this sort of infection that has spread into the West, where people do cosplays, and of course, yet again, I have to mention this. I don't have a problem with costumes, but I'm talking about the freaks that wear certain outfits that are, let's call it, revealing and in poor taste, and they lack elegance, right? And they only go to these conventions to show off their goods, right? It's not even about the costumes. But anyway, so I'm talking from a point of experience. I was into this anime manga phenomenon a long time ago. A long time ago, right? And like I said, about 10 years or so, I just stopped because I just couldn't take it anymore. And that's not to say that there aren't good anime out there, that there aren't any good manga. Of course they are. They are phenomenal stories and with phenomenal animation and great writing and exquisite character development. And I'm just saying about the bulk of it all. There's a lot of garbage, a lot of mediocrity, a lot of things done in poor taste, and then you have the exquisite work that there are a few, right? And I still have my comic book collections and my manga collections, and every now and then I watch a movie or an anime or something that is good. So I'm very picky when it comes to my experience with and my view of entertainment, right? I just don't consume it to the extremes. I am very picky with what I read, what I watch, what I listen to, because of course you have to have standards and tastes that should be as elevated as possible, because otherwise you're gonna have to uh, digest a lot of subpar work. And the problem is today, I think, that a lot of people, they have been so embalmed in so much piss poor entertainment that they cannot tell the difference between something that is good and something that is, appalling or lacking in various aspects. And yes, you have to polish this type of, instinct almost to understand and comprehend what's the difference between good work and bad work. And that is why today a lot of people, they fuck with Marvel and with DC and with Star Wars and Star Trek and the Minion movies, and they eat it up, and the Lego movies, and they keep on sucking in all of this garbage that has nothing to offer but an hour and a half of dumbing down programming. See, these are movies and so on that were specifically designed to be of a lower quality, right? And that is what the populace seems to enjoy, and I don't care about any of this, right? But that's just me. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I think that there is a problem in society where the people, they cannot distinguish what is good and what is bad. And even if those few who can distinguish that, oh wait, this movie franchise that makes billions of dollars is absolute trash, the best thing that they can think of is, I'm gonna meme about it. I'm gonna meme it up. You see, this is a problem. I think memes have become a have 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 become so close to our existence that they are part of us, right? It's like memes are a part of us now. We do not know how to communicate now without memes, right? We do not know what to do with ourselves if video games aren't available, right? And that's a problem. And again, I have no problem with video games. I have video games, but I don't play them like every day, every week, 10 hours a day. I got things to do. Life is supposed to be lived. And again, video games, there's a lot of garbage, and then there are a few that are superb. And you know who those games are. I don't have to tell you, but the majority of people, they just swallow and devour this entertainment of the cheapest, of the lowest quality, and they cannot tell the difference. And if something of a higher quality might pop up, well, they're not really gonna understand it because they haven't faced something like this before, right? And not to talk down to anybody, but that's exactly what happens. Most people do not pick something that is more sophisticated or complex or intellectual or even artistic. They just want their clear-cut story with whatever subjects they want to tackle. And this is what I attempted to talk about in this book, where this guy goes to this great convention, and all he sees are these he calls them mutants, a subculture of mutants where they are in cosplay and they're furries and they identify with this and they want these pronouns and they are sexually attracted to, I don't know, inanimate objects, and they want to marry holograms or video game characters, and it's just too much to me. I think that we have lost part of our humanity because we have sold ourselves to entertainment. Entertainment has a grasp on the human soul, and uh, humankind has been lowered in a sense where without social media, without movies, without video games, what would people do? What would people occupy themselves with without their phones, without their Facebooks, without their memes, right? Something something might come out, whatever it is, a video game, a movie, animation, and immediately people have to make memes about it. And I think this is an essential symptom and a sign that there's something serious going on here. That no matter what happens, no matter what comes out, no matter what occurs, people have to make memes about it, as if they are possessed by it. Right? Unthinkingly, mindlessly, they have to make memes, and I think that is a serious chronic problem that has to be addressed, and I address it in this book that you should read immediately. Right? I'm gonna put the description down below, the link in the description down below, if you want to buy. And of course, there's also the ebook version. But anyway, you know, essentially that's what this book is all about. What's really happening to society nowadays where everything has to be related to some sort of form of entertainment, where we have video games and memes and so on and so forth. It's like people cannot have a discussion unless there's something about movies or cartoons or anime or video games. there cannot be a discussion without these subjects coming into the forefront. And that to me is, how is this possible? To me that is impossible, but it happens, right? So people, they cannot communicate without these subjects coming into the discussion, right? A reference of some sort, you know. It's a problem. It's a terrible problem that's happened, right? You know, people who, let's call them nerds or weeaboos. They're the back in the day, they were frowned upon. They were called losers. But now, apparently, it's okay to be, you know, a gamer or a nerd, a weeaboo, a hentai collector, a bobblehead aficionado, a connoisseur of, I don't know, big titty anime girls. I don't know. When something so obviously degenerate has been accepted into the mainstream, right, by normies of all people, and they have no problem with collecting all of these silly ass toys and figurines and merch from all of these shows. It is mystifying. It's baffling. It's baffling. That's what I want to say. It's baffling to me that something like this has become so ubiquitous, right? It's everywhere. It's prevalent. And, I'm not here to shit on anybody's preference. You do you. But also you have to realize that all of these things should be done in moderation. But moderation in this day and age, it is an inexistent principle, right? There are no convictions when it comes to, well, should I really be watching this? Is this for me? This garbage, that they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars making this stupid ass movie. This is garbage. This is not for me. But most people, they don't think that way, right? So I attempted to discuss all of these subjects, all of the crazy technology, all of the memes. No matter what happens in the world, a disaster, people have to meme it. They have to make it funny, right? Because what else could they do, possibly? Because they don't know the world, they don't know themselves, they don't know how to tackle these problems and these disasters. So all you have now is people sitting in front of a screen, typing away and making ha-has and putting 10 emojis, right, in their comments. And that's what people do nowadays, even older people. And to me, that we went wrong. Something terrible happened in our evolution when the web became, global. Hold on, let me check my camera. Right? So something happened. Something happened with culture. Something happened with people. And they have lost any inkling of discernment. They don't think that it's a problem to wear, let's say a t-shirt with some sort of anime girl making a silly ass face. They don't have a problem with that. They think it's all right, and they say you shouldn't judge anybody based on their appearance. But when you wear something like that, or you love something like that, how can you tell people not to judge you? Of course they're gonna judge you, right? But I think that if you have these tendencies, you should enjoy them in the privacy of your own home, in your privacy. But people have to spread their corruption and their obscenity to others, right? So that's what I'm saying, because I watch these people, I study these people, and they have no shame whatsoever, especially because they have to tell everybody else that they watch hentai. They have to tell everybody else that they collect dojins, and they do this, and they have figurines that are voluptuous and whatever else, right? Whatever else. It is appalling. It is simply appalling that something like this goes on almost unnoticed. It just came in and just swept us off our feet, and it's become a part of the behavior of most people nowadays. Most people nowadays, they don't have a problem. They don't even notice it, right? They don't have a problem with telling other people that they watch a certain type of porn or they watch a certain type of hentai every day, and they don't think that's a problem. They they don't have a problem with certain types of animes that are just simply there to excite certain watchers. Let's leave it at that, right? So they don't have a problem with that. And of course, another problem is they consume all of this entertainment in vast quantities, 24/7. They have Netflix subscriptions, they have HBO subscriptions, they have Hulu, they have all of this nonsense. They have Amazon Primes, and they have all of this nonsense, right? And to me, to be so devoted to entertainment, it is too much work. It is exhausting, right? All of these stupid ass shows, I mean, you should already know, if you have some sort of discernment, that most 99% of all the entertainment, no matter what it is pure garbage. And it is specifically designed to be garbage, to dumb you down. I mean, that to me is very apparent, but most people, they don't mind it. Even if they understand that what they're watching is pure garbage, they're gonna watch it anyway because they want to laugh. And yet again, there's no problem with laughing, but laughing all the time while watching garbage all the time, that is a certain type of nihilism, of cynicism, of emptiness. It's emptiness. You have to fill the void. You have to keep yourself distracted with this garbage, right? And I had to write about it. Right? Uh, you know, everybody's fucking with OnlyFans and TikToks, and everybody's a thought, and everybody's a simp, and everybody is an alpha male, and everybody is red pill or black pill or purple pill or their MGTOW, and something's going on with culture now. Everybody's a feminist now. There's nothing but cultural appropriation, and you can't do this, and you can't do that, and you can't say this, and you can't say that word, and so and so lives matter, and what else? Culture today is a disease. People, community, the neighborhood, people as a society, it is completely breaking down, and people don't realize it. They think, well, the banks are falling apart, the economy, but the most important aspect of any society, it is the relationships and the connections of people, and nobody notices that they are completely collapsing and disintegrating, right? So society as we know it is falling apart because people are no longer interested in other people. They're more interested in their devices, in their little games, in their little whatever, in their little gadgets, right? In their little apps on their phones. So that's about it. That's what this book is all about. And much more, of course. But you have to buy it and read it, and maybe you'll enjoy it. But I did my best to compress it, to make it cohesive, to talk about what's been happening in the last 20 years with people regarding entertainment and their behavior and their comportment and their way of thinking, because technology has made people strange, right? The things that they occupy themselves with today, and I'm talking about the physical as well as the fictitious. The fantasies have turned people into a weird path. Something is going on here, and nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Everybody's separate and segregated from everybody else, not only physically but spiritually, because they want their little phones, and they want their little games, and they want their little chats, and they want their little memes, right? So I had to write about it. And I think I did a pretty good job trying to show just how completely unsalvageable society has become. It cannot be cured because the unacceptable has been accepted, where you have grown-ass men wearing schoolgirl uniforms, right? And the original cover of this book was supposed to be, I saw a photo of this old Japanese dude. He was bald and he was wearing a schoolgirl uniform, and I thought that is a prime example of what has been happening. And of course, Japan is notorious for all of its cultural, societal issues, right? Where everything is just haywire, everything is upside down. You know, you got hikikimoris, right? People who stay indoors and they don't want to live, they don't want to meet other people, they don't want to talk to they don't want to do anything but play video games and watch anime. They're called shut-in, recluses in Japan, right? And of course you have the weeaboos. And I saw another photo of some fat guy, and he was walking down the street, and he had, he had the attire of a circus freak, right? He was wearing all these anime girls on his shirt. He had like a pink, overcoat with, of course, anime accessories on it. He had bags with merch, and these weebs. I don't know. It's like there's no problem with enjoying these types of things if that's what you like, but being so open about it shows me that you have no radar to detect how embarrassing you are, right? It's like me going on outside in my underwear and not understanding what I'm doing, you see. Of course, that is a taboo that must not be broken, right? Right? And a lot of people, they don't seem to get that what they're doing is shameful. That they are taking it too far, they are too obsessed, they are too possessed, they are OCD with just consuming entertainment and shitting out entertainment. And as the old saying goes, if you put garbage in, you'll put out nothing but garbage. You see, you gotta find works that are of a higher quality, that require a second thought, right? Because 10 years ago, I just looked at this medium and I saw all of this anime being pumped out, and I just said, I'm just done. I'm not gonna keep on watching this garbage. And I am very preferential. The anime that I pick to watch, they have to be special. I don't waste my time on 99% of all of this garbage. Be it comics or manga or animated content or movies or TV shows, I am very picky. I don't just pick whatever is on the screen and just keep on watching even though it's bad, right? Because I have standards and I have convictions, and I do not. And one of my principles is that if it's not good, it should not waste my time, right? And that should be it. So, in essence, what this book tries to accomplish is to expose what has been happening to people, especially people of my age, for the last 20 years with this technology, with this availability of endless content that is of the lowest quality possible, and it tries to find an answer. How can we how can we resolve this? But of course, the answer is we cannot resolve this because people accept it without question, right? And because they accept it without question, unthinkingly, of course, that is the point where uh, they are too far gone. They cannot be brought back. And and of course, the conclusion of this book is that it's too late. Of course, it's too late. We cannot go back as we were because people, they're too comfortable, they're too lazy, they're too well fed, and they have way too many toys. And of course, as we know, even children cannot share or cannot let go of their toys. So I think that is a perfect, metaphor for what's really happening here. Is that people have been turned into quasi children. They have been turned juvenile, and they are immature. And whatever happens to be the entertainment, they will enjoy it because even though it's bad, they're just gonna keep on watching for a laugh. And I'm like, that's no way to live. That to me seems absolutely senseless. And people, this is a word of wisdom. People don't need to laugh all the time. They need to experience the diverse range of emotions, even the negative ones. But today, people they're in a sort of glee state, in a merriment. They're too excited. They're too hyperactive. They just want to chase whatever thrill is available, no matter how bad it is, because they want to laugh. They want to feel good, because they can make fun of something, and then they can get a laugh, and they'll feel better about themselves, which isn't a bad thing in of itself. But to do this continuously, year after year, to play every video game that comes along, to live stream it, to do walkthroughs on YouTube, to stream on Twitch, all of that, that's too much, man. That's too much. You see, life needs to be simple. The best life needs to be simple. We gotta go back to our roots. In simplicity, you will find elegance. In simplicity, you will find happiness. The more you try to complicate your life with silly nonsense, it'll be a hollow existence, right? And I think this book does a pretty decent job at just showing, how absurd society has become. And of course, because they believe all of the nonsense that has been going around for a year now, absurdity, nonsense, the ridiculous, the preposterous, it has become the norm. It has become the status quo. People don't question anything because they live in a fantasy world. Because they think as long as they have their memes and their video games and their stupid content, it doesn't really matter because they're safe, they're comfortable. But yet again, how long can that last, right? We're living in strange times, right? And this book shows exactly how ridiculous humanity has become, right? And of course, it is funny, but it's not funny for the just for the sake of being funny. It has actually a bit of thought behind it, right? Nothing in this book is just there because, haha, what a great reference. No, it is specifically there to show you, the reader, that this is something that is preposterous, absurd, and it should not exist. It should not be loved to this extent, right? The fact that people obsess over Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog or the Mutant Turtles or whatever else, that to me shows that they are suffering from some sort of illness, or they have a emotional impediment or a mental one, right? But they don't see it that way. They think that it's nostalgia or whatever. They're reliving your childhood. And to that, I have to say, you see, your childhood is behind you. Now you're an adult. Act like one. Your childhood is over. That part of your life is over. You gotta live now. But they don't want that, because living in the moment means that you have to confront all of the nasty aspects of life. You see, you have to be responsible as an adult and confront, let's call it the abyss or the void. Cynicism, nihilism, hopelessness, helplessness. But of course, if you have cosplay and furries and silly TV shows and the Kardashians and lame ass hip hop that's questionable, then there's no problem. There's no problem. Like George Carlin said, everybody has a device that makes pancakes and rubs their balls. Of course, he said it brilliantly. When people are too comfortable, when they're too well fed, they don't question anything, and especially they don't question their own behavior, their own motives. And of course, if they're living well, they're not going to give it up for things, preposterous things like truth, right? But if you want to check this book out, you're gonna find it on Amazon. We got the ebook version as well. This is the paperback. I'm gonna put the links in the description, and thanks for watching. And if you buy a copy, you have my thanks, right? And maybe you'll enjoy this, because I enjoyed reading this. It was a joy. It was an adventure, and I don't regret it. You see, because this was not some sort of oh boy, let me occupy my time with something. No, this was my mission. I gotta do this book because I have things to say. And although I don't explain myself very well, verbally, and I stutter sometimes, I think that in writing, I make a pretty good case, right? I'm concise, I'm to the point, and if nothing else, this book right here, should tell you that madness is the hallmark of the 21st century. That if you move everything aside, you will realize that what we are dealing with here right now in the 21st century is a certain type of madness that frolics around freely, and nobody seems to mind. And I find that hilarious, right? So, thanks for watching. See ya.